Ladies and gentlemen, strap in and hold on tight because episode 4 of season 2 of the Outlaw Crypto Podcast is going to reshape your perceptions and shatter the chains of the digital gulag. Our guest this time is none other than Exitus, the Decred DAO contributor, a true cypherpunk warrior who's been forging the path of decentralized financial freedom with a hammer made of code and a heart of pure, untamed liberty. Exitus is part of the elite crew behind Decred, a project born out of the fiery depths of cypherpunk idealism, where freedom isn't just a word, it's a way of life. Decred isn't your run-of-the-mill crypto. It's a revolution, a shining beacon of hope for those of us trapped in the ever-tightening noose of the technocracy's surveillance state. With a hybrid proof-of-work and proof-of-stake system that puts the power back in the hands of the people, Decred is the ultimate shield against the looming threat of centralized control. But wait, there's more. Exitus is also here to unleash the beast that is the Bison wallet decentralized exchange, the weapon of choice for those who refuse to bow to the corrupt, KYC-laden, censorship-happy regimes that have infested the crypto world like a plague. The Bison wallet isn't just another tool. It's a sledgehammer that's going to smash through the walls of financial oppression, making peer-to-peer trading truly unstoppable, truly censorship-resistant, and truly free. With Exitus and his comrades at the helm, Decred has crafted a treasury that answers to no one but its stakeholders, funding innovation and resistance against the digital overlords who want nothing more than to strip us of our sovereignty and trap us in their digital cages. The Bison Wallet DEX is the culmination of this fight, a peer-to-peer exchange where your transactions are your business, not some shadowy entity's data mining operation. This is the future of finance, where you're not a product to be exploited, but a sovereign individual wielding the full power of decentralized tech. So tune in, because Exitus is going to take us deep into the heart of the Decred rebellion, where privacy, security, and freedom aren't just buzzwords. They're the weapons we'll use to tear down the digital panopticon and reclaim our liberty. The Outlaw Crypto Podcast is back, and with Exitus leading the charge, we're ready to light the fuse on the next revolution.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Outlaw Crypto Podcast. I'm your host, Paranoia Machinery. Today, my guest is Exitus from the Decred project. I'm super excited to have Exitus on because he gave me a sneak preview of the Bison DEX that Decred has been working on, which is much anticipated. And I got to play around with it a little bit before we started to record the interview. So, Exitus, how are you, man? Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, I'm super good, super happy to be here to talk about Bison Wallet, DCR DEX, or really anything related to privacy or different decentralized exchanges, Monero, whatever. Thanks for having me on.
Indeed. My history with Decred goes back to like 2017, I want to say. Like when I first started shitcoining around and not being like a Bitcoin maximalist so much, I bought Decred as one of the coins that I was interested in because Decred had like some ex-Bitcoin developers that had some really interesting tech ideas, and they kind of like splintered off because Bitcoin was locked down and nobody was like taking ideas seriously unless they came from a certain part of the Bitcoin community. So the Decred developers left Bitcoin, started Decred as their own project, and then were like mixing up the consensus where it was like a hybrid proof of stake, proof of work coin. And I was into Decred for a while, and then I kind of stopped keeping tabs of the project so much and moved on to other projects. But recently, I've been seeing a lot of talk about Decred in my timeline. You're one of those people that's been posting about it, and Bison DEX has been the topic of conversation. So it's got me interested in Decred again because Bison DEX is a great idea. I feel like we need more DEXs. I feel like we don't have enough. I feel like centralized exchanges are kind of detrimental to crypto as a whole. I don't know what your opinion is on those things, but I just wanted to give you my background with Decred before we got into the interview.
Yeah, it seems like you're pretty knowledgeable on it. Basically, it was started at they were originally Bitcoin developers. They created a Bitcoin full node written in Go uh, from scratch, and it was considered one of the best implementations of Bitcoin. But while working in the Bitcoin ecosystem, they basically encountered a lot of pushback from Bitcoin Core, and they kind of realized there wasn't much they could do within the big Bitcoin ecosystem, and they decided to create their own project called Decred. And I don't know if you know this, but one of the founding founders of Decred was Taco Time, who also was one of the founding developers of Monero. So there is kind of a tight history there. And they decided to do a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake approach, with the main idea being that the coin holders would have staking rights and they could vote on chain over consensus changes and other, kind of the big idea being coin holders were in control of the project, not just a group of developers or not just, ASIC miners somewhere in China. So that was kind of the big idea. And there's a few other things. 10% of the block rewarded is allocated to a treasury, which is also controlled by stakeholders. They vote on how to spend that fund. Some people call it a dev tax. Some people aren't, huge fans of it. In my opinion, it's been a big deal for the project because it's allowed us to build things like Bison Wallet or Bison Dex, as you call it. Uh, so Bison Dex has been in development for a long time. I would say going back to 2019. I can give a little insight. So basically, in 2017, the Decred developers wrote the initial tools for atomic swaps, and that's how Bison Dex operates. It uses peer-to-peer atomic swaps, which, as you know, is what Basic Swap uses. Same technology, same idea. But these tools were written originally by Decred developers back in 2017, and they worked with Charlie Lee of Litecoin to do the initial Decred Litecoin atomic swap. That was the first ever atomic swap. Then they did Litecoin Bitcoin, Decred Bitcoin, and that's when it kind of made news. When once you got Bitcoin involved, there was a lot of hype around it. People thought, "Wow, this is great! You can trade different blockchain assets, peer-to-peer, decentralized." And then it kind of faded away, and it was noise, and people went back to using their centralized exchanges. But the Decred team basically said, "Hey, we want to take this technology and build out a decentralized exchange with a familiar, order book marketplace." And that's what they did in 2019. They submitted proposals to kind of get this running, and in 2020 was the first release. It was in pretty rough shape on the initial release. It was a minimal viable product. You needed some IT skills to get it running. It was only Decred Bitcoin. You needed a Bitcoin full node to get it working. It wasn't really until 2022 where it was at a place where it was kind of plug and play. They started using SPV wallets. So SPV is basically it stands for Simple Payments Verification. It's you can think of it as a light wallet, uh, very fast sync times. You don't need to download a 500 gigabyte Bitcoin node. It's only like 2 gigabytes. Uh, and they added Litecoin, they added Zcash, and they even added stable coins, which I think is a really great feature because so many people today like to trade between stable coins and not just between, Bitcoin. Back in the day, it was mainly between alts and Bitcoin. Now I feel like it's moved way towards the stable coins. I don't know if you feel the same.
Yeah, I do feel the same. It's been what I've noticed, especially being here in Latin America. Like stablecoins are king in as far as crypto goes.
Yeah. So where was I? So yeah, they added stable coins. But one problem they encountered was the name was initially DCR Dex, and so people assumed there was some sort of rent-seeking element where you needed Decred to use it, or there was some sort of fee collection. But that's not the case. You don't need Decred. There's no fees collected by the Dex. The only fees are the on-chain fees incurred when you do these swaps. Um, but yeah, so it's basically being rebranded to Bison Wallet. It's kind of this neutral name. The name Bison was chosen because it's kind of a meme within the community. It's easy to say, but this is a wallet that native wallet that runs on your computer with your own nodes, and of course there's a trading element to it.
I wanted to, before we like move into the wallet and all the tech talk about who you are and your role in the Decred community.
Sure. Yeah. So I've been contributing to Decred for a few years now. Mainly, I do news updates. I try to talk about the different developments happening in the Decred ecosystem, from kind of commits on GitHub to different releases, different proposals submitted, different statistics, basically everything that's happening. So I do some video work, and then I'm active on social media, and I do some moderation. I moderate Telegram, Discord. those types of things. And I also help with different marketing initiatives, doing some giveaways here and there. So that's mainly what I do.
Nice.
And so yeah, I'm a Decred DAO contributor basically.
Cool. And how long have you been involved with the project for?
I would say I got involved late 2019 was when I first started.
Okay.
And so this is something I'd like to point out is that anyone is free to contribute to Decred. It's open source. We're always looking for new developers, and you can be anonymous. You don't there's no information required, and you can be paid out by the treasury, and you can contribute doing development, doing marketing if you have any really cool ideas, that kind of stuff.
Okay, cool. And then I guess whenever we wrap up, I'll have you give out like all the links and stuff like that so people can get involved. So yeah, let's get into the decks. Bison Wallet, I guess I should call it, not Bison Dex, since that's the official name. Bison Wallet is pretty impressive, I have to say. Like after using Bisq, Havino, basic swap decks, Bison is pretty impressive. It's really easy to set up. It seems pretty intuitive and straightforward to use for the most part. And I know I'm looking at like an early version, but once all these coins that are in there start working and people are onboarded, I can see this being a very useful tool. Can you talk a little bit about like the trading experience that users can expect?
Yeah, so well, first off, the reason it looks pretty good is it's been in development for since 2019, so a number of years, probably over $1 million spent on development. So it's kind of been a long time coming. And while
Okay.
we're currently still on testnet for this release, I just spoke to a developer. He said there might be a release candidate for the mainnet release this week. So this is something that's coming very soon. It's just in the finalization of tweaking the UI and the user experience because there's some certain hiccups. But basically, this uses pure peer-to-peer atomic swaps, trustless trading, completely permissionless. There's no KYC. You run the client. You pick what wallets you want to use. You sync those wallets, and then you add funds, and you can trade. And it uses a familiar order book where there's buy and sell bids, and you can just select. You can enter. You can place a make or take bid, and then it just executes that atomic swap, and you can watch it execute. It depends on what pair you're using. So here's the main issue: is Bitcoin is very slow, and the fees are high. Now, if you do Polygon USDC, it confirms very fast and the fees are low. So the big thing we're hoping for this next release or this main release of Bison Wallet is that people move towards the USDC Polygon and you can execute these quick trades. Or if you do crypto to crypto, say Decred to Litecoin or Decred to Firo, same thing, low fees, fast confirmations. It makes for a really great trading experience. And because the fees are so low on chain, you're basically not paying any fees at all.
Okay. And like between two fast coins, like say Decred and Firo in your example, like how quick would a trade settle?
So I haven't tested out Firo yet. I think they're still working on the test net with that one. With USDC yesterday, I did a trade and it was about 4 minutes for it to complete,
Okay.
which is pretty fast. In my experience with Litecoin, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It kind of depends on the chain. I mean, it depends how you look at it. In my opinion, waiting 20 minutes for a trade to complete when it's completely permissionless and decentralized isn't a bad trade-off, right?
Yeah, no, I don't
Because
think
even
that's a
when you're
big deal.
using these centralized swaps, like those InstaSwap services where you send a coin and they send it back, it's still 30 minutes, but you're gambling that they send it to you. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, that they don't shotgun KYC you and like freeze your account and make you explain things. Like, yeah.
right? Exactly. I
So,
should also note here that Monero is coming to Bison Wallet. There was a proposal passed, and they're taking inspiration, or they see how Basic Swap has done theirs with the adapter signature swaps, and they like how it's done, and they're going to be using that technology to implement it on Bison Wallet. So it is coming. Monero is coming. They do have a testnet harness up. So again, Monero, low fees, fast confirmation. It's going to be a great pair. Obviously, one of the biggest cryptos, so we're really excited for that. And that was the main coin people wanted over the last few years. They said, "Can you add Monero? Can you add Monero?" And they said, "Well, it doesn't have scripting. It's kind of tough to add. It's going to take a lot of work." But once they saw Basic Swap, that was kind of the main influence for that. Basic Swap, by the way, is adding Decred. I just got a message they completed integration today, actually. So we're pretty excited about that.
okay, yeah, I actually saw them talking about that in the Matrix. There's like a Particl Matrix group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were
So
discussing
yeah,
that they were testing. Decred?
Yeah, they submitted a proposal on our system. It got approved, so they got funding in Decred. They got paid in Decred to do that work, and they've been really good. They're great at reporting and doing everything. So we're really happy to see that.
So how soon will we see Decred on Basic Swap? That should be like pretty soon if they just finished like wrapping up the integration, right?
Yeah, I think today they said so they're going to do announcements today.
Oh
So
wow,
yeah.
that's awesome. There's a lot of things going on here in the Decred world.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing is like, that Binance delisting of Monero, I think it sent kind of a shockwave through the, different cryptocurrency communities. And this is one of the biggest issues in cryptocurrency is the control of the centralized exchanges. And I get it. The centralized exchanges play an important role because you can put on fiat and you can buy cryptocurrency with fiat, which is something these dexes can't do, except maybe Havana is a bit different case. But on DC Bison wallet, Bison Dex, you can't actually use fiat. You can use stable coins, but not fiat. So the centralized exchanges do play an important role, and I'm not trying to downplay that. But you probably agree with me that they have way too much control. They gatekeep and they pick and choose what people can buy and sell.
Yeah.
And so one big hurdle Decred has had is you can't buy it in America. It's not on a single American exchange. We were on Bittrex, but Bittrex shut down, and it's just been a total headache to get on Kraken or Coinbase or Gemini. They provide, no guidance at all. They asked us to do the Rosetta integration on it, their API for Coinbase. We did it. Then they ghosted us. And so, is the future of cryptocurrency really like trading under surveillance cameras, doing KYC, and letting these exchanges basically get rich from rent seeking? They're basically becoming the new banks where people hold their coins on the exchange, and yeah, it's so we're hoping to move things forward with this release.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly that the centralized exchanges are taking on like a more banking like role. I mean, look at Coinbase, for example. They're begging for regulation. They want to put up like a regulatory moat so that they have like a monopoly on their like banking style services around crypto. So I do think that's a huge problem. And then I would say that I agree with you also that the XMRT listing from Binance really kind of lit a fire under people's asses and got them moving on these DEX projects because since then we've seen Basic Swap add Wownero. Uh, they just added Decred that you just said that. And then Bison wallet is about to come out soon, which is super cool. Havino came out earlier than expected due to the XMR delisting. Sarai is they're plugging away on it. I'm not sure like when we'll actually see it launch, but I do think it's super important that we have like a healthy DEX ecosystem. So I'm really happy to see all these projects rolling out like this. The XMR delisting, even though it was negative for Monero, like in the short term, it seems to have had like overall a very positive impact on crypto in general.
Yeah, for sure. There's a diversity of dexes, and Basic Swap offers Monero. They have their own roadmap. We have our own roadmap. Hopefully, there's some sort of arbitrage bot that can link those. I don't know if you got a chance to check out the market maker on the
I
Bison
didn't
Dex.
yet. I'm still syncing, unfortunately. It's
Yeah,
taken a
the
long
test
time.
net's a little finicky with the Decred pair. But are you able to like even access the setting?
Well, it says like market order, limit order. Is there like a
Well, at
market
the top,
maker?
there's a picture of a robot, so it should be
Oh,
like
it's that. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
I have that. Yeah, okay. All right. Oh, it's a bot. Nice.
Yeah, so there's a whole GUI for running market maker bots. So this is going to be a big part of this release. Is one challenge with these dexes is the liquidity, the amount of people using it, and if you show up to one of these dexes and there's like only a few orders, there's low liquidity, you're probably not going to stick around. So this is incentivizing communities to basically, hey, there's tools for market making, run market makers, get liquidity, get volume, and it's just going to make the whole thing more attractive. So I think there's five different, there's a bunch of different settings, there's strategies. You can set it to how you want to run your market maker, how many coins you want to put into it, and it actually tracks the profit and loss. So you can
Wow.
potentially make profit from running it if you do it correctly. But I would say the main reason to run a market maker is just to provide liquidity. So the Firo team has said they're going to run bots. They're going to provide liquidity. So we're really excited to see that. And there's even going to be arbitrage bots with Binance, and they're also adding Coinbase, and I think really anything else, probably Kraken.
This is so impressive.
Yeah, I personally never seen market maker bots work like that in a GUI. Usually there's they're really complicated, but you can get one up and running in a few clicks.
Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, this is the first time I've had a chance to look at it. So sorry, audience, if you hear me sounding like I'm just looking at it for the first
But
time,
that's
because I am.
interesting. You didn't know that was the market maker, because we're still testing out the UI, because this stuff is kind of new and scary to people. But if you if you didn't realize that was the market maker, maybe we can suggest a UI change.
Yeah, I mean, like I got it up and running like right before we hopped on the call, and then I like had to create the account, and then I was syncing the thing, and then getting the USDC from the faucet and all that. So like, I just didn't have a chance to click on it. I think I don't know if like you necessarily need a UI change.
Okay, no worry.
Yeah, but the way that this Dex is laid out, though, it's super like intuitive. Like I like how you have all the coins on the left hand side, so like whatever one you want, you just click on it. The wallet thing is right there. It's pretty cool. I'm sorry, like I shouldn't be talking about like what I see on screen, because this is an audio only podcast and people can't like see what I'm talking about. But it's really clean looking. The interface is
Yeah,
really clean, and I'm super impressed by how easy it was to get up and running. Like I just came from setting up Basic Swap, and like I had some issues with it because like if you don't shut Basic Swap down properly, like it can corrupt the like database or whatever, and then like you have to like resync all the wallets. So like I had that happen to me because it was like raining here and the power went out, and like it was in the middle of the night. So then like my Basic Swap Dex instance, I had to like restart syncing the chains, and I was able to do it, but like I'm still syncing, and I've been trying to get Basic Swap up for like 2 weeks, right? This I was
yeah.
able to get up in like literally like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really impressive how they've managed to it's a 22 megabyte executable, and it lives in your tray area, but it just launches right in your web browser, and you can do everything. We also have it on Umbrel. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Umbrel home server.
Yeah, the node.
Well, it's not a node, but it's like you can it's known for running Bitcoin nodes, but
Yeah.
it's like a personal home server operating system. So we have that on there.
Okay.
They won't let us put it on their official app store, but it's on like a community app store.
Nice.
But I that's like kind of the ideal way to run one of these, is you can run a client on your own home server, because the way atomic swaps work is you need to be online to do the swap.
Okay.
So if you want to place bids and stuff, your computer needs to be online. Yeah, so like it's pretty cool. Like you can run your own little like at home deck server.
Have you guys talked to the Start 9 people? Like they have another. It's similar to Umbrel. It's a
Yeah, I've
different
heard of that one as well. I'm not
operating
sure. I
system.
think they're gonna try to get it like everywhere they can.
Yeah.
But I will say the Umbrel version's really cool. Like I've had a good experience with it.
Yeah. I'm technically illiterate, so I don't know how easy it would be to like port that over, but it would be cool to have it on both of them, because I know there's like a lot of people that use Start 9 that are like, because they also added Monero, so like there's Monero community members that use it, and then also Bitcoin people. So
Yeah, hopefully with this rebrand, they'll be more accepting, because the Umbrel people are basically Bitcoin maximalists. And even though Bitcoin is fully supported on this exchange, and if you just want to use Bitcoin to swap between to stable coins, you can do that, which I think is a great use case. I haven't really seen that anywhere else. Uh, so hopefully we can work with Umbrel to do that. And it really helped the popularity if it was just on their app store.
how did you guys solve like the liquidity issues for the swaps?
What do you mean?
Like
Uh,
I've used other dexes, you've used other dexes, and like some of the other dexes that do atomic swaps, like you just wait for like, I don't know, a long time before you can actually do a trade, because you're waiting for like somebody to trade with you, right? How are you guys like managing that to make these trades like happen more efficiently?
Well, I mean, there's an order book, and you can place your own bid, or you can be the taker. You can select someone's sell order and place your buy order, and it executes like
Okay.
immediately.
Okay.
So,
And then the bots, I guess, would add liquidity, and people are incentivized to run the bots because they get to earn a profit.
well, yeah, you can earn a profit if how, depending on how you configure it, but it's probably going to be more of a thing for providing liquidity. It's going to be a community thing. I think a big part of the success of the DEX is going to be it's going to be ground up from the community. So one of the reasons it's kind of unknown is Decred's never really worked with these big VC outfits. Um, so marketing and network effect is basically our weakness.
Okay.
Very strong on tech, but bad with network effect. So this is going to be a ground up effort. We have seen a lot of support from different communities, namely Digibyte, Firo, and I think once we get Monero, hopefully we'll see a lot of support. But it's up to the communities to get their people to use these things, maybe run market makers. But yeah, that's what it's going to be.
With this DEX here, like if you guys add Monero to it, like it should be easy to add Wownero, right, as well, and then
Yes.
like Zano and like other blockchains that are using like Monero style privacy, like that should be a thing that once Monero's added, you can add these other projects that share like a similar code base, correct?
Yeah, generally speaking, if they share similar code base, it's trivial. Like adding Litecoin was very easy because it's so similar to Bitcoin and Decred. I think adding Firo and Dash was also fairly trivial. But yeah, Monero doesn't have the scripts. I'm trying to think. So as far as adding coins, it's all open source. The DEX developers are not gatekeeping anything. If someone wants to come along and add their coin, they can add it. That's why you see Z Classic in the DEX, right?
Okay. Yeah.
He was the creator of Z Classic was enthusiastic about it. He came along, did the work, it got added. That's a big problem with again with decentralized exchanges. They gatekeep. They choose what people can and cannot trade, and we don't think that's the philosophy we should have. Also, people can run. There can be different DEX server operators, so the server operator can pick and choose what pairs they want to run. So currently on the test net, there's only like Decred USDC, but on the mainnet, there's gonna every single pair you see in the wallet is gonna have its own USDC pair. So Firo USDC, Dash USDC, etc. And then the server operator can just run whatever pairs they want to run. And eventually, the end goal is to have a mesh network of different servers running. So they're also working on a mesh network right now, but that's not going to be part of the first release.
For the atomic swaps, like with Monero, for instance, you guys mentioned how Particl had solved it by having the adapter signatures. Like, are you guys employing a similar technology to be able to do that?
Yeah, I think the goal is to use that the adapter signatures, and I think the way it works is like the coin that isn't Monero goes first for the trade, and that's how they do it. I know in basic swaps, they use the Particl node to run everything, so you need to sync your Particl node first before you can do anything on the DEX. And they're using some sort of network within that. I'm not sure
Yeah,
how
it's
they're
called
going
like
to do it.
SMSG, and it's like a
Right.
private like messaging network. Like, so I assume like your mesh network's gonna be something similar, or no?
I don't think it's going to use the mesh for this instance, but I wish I was a developer and I could tell you, but I know they saw what was being done in basic swap and said, okay, we can do this with Bison wallet. So
Okay.
it is happening. So it is coming. So I think the
So
technology
the
has
different
existed.
instances of Bison, like if there's a bunch of people running servers, like, and then they're connected through this mesh network, would they share like liquidity then between themselves to like increase the ability or like the volume of
That's a good
trades?
question. I think that's going to be the case. I think that's what the end goal of it is to have a bunch of servers and make it so it can't be taken down.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and going back to Decred, if you look at the Decred wallet on the DEX, it actually supports staking. So this can be your one-stop shop for using Decred. It supports staking. You can vote on things, and it also has the privacy implementation right in there. So Decred basically uses opt-in privacy, coin mixing, and we just had a release recently that decentralized the coin mixing process. So normally, Coin Shuffle, CoinJoin relies on a centralized server to coordinate all the mixing, and that was the case for Decred for a few years. But they recently made it so all the mixing is coordinated between the nodes. So they decentralized it. That was a pretty interesting release.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So how are the mixes taking place? Is it like a coin join like we understand from Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's a coin join, but the mixing isn't done by a centralized server. It's all the mixing messages are just going out on the network. So all the different Decred full nodes are just doing the messages, doing the mixing just as they do normal transactions, right? They validate the mixes just as they validate the normal transactions. but it's all
Wow,
hidden, so you don't know what node's doing what mixing.
that's amazing. So with that privacy that's being provided, like is there any like vulnerability to chain analysis? I know like with Samurai, like Samurai's mix worked, but they were centralized, so they got taken down. In this case, it's the nodes doing it, so it's decentralized. But does it offer like the same level of privacy?
Well, one issue with I think Bitcoin mixing, and this is an issue with a lot of the opt-in privacies, there's so few people using it. It hurts everyone else's privacy. So it's like in Bitcoin, if only 1% of people are mixing, it's kind of like if you did do the mixing, you're a little bit more vulnerable. And they what's it called? They call the coins dirty coins. Like you send the coin to exchange, and they're like, oh, this has been mixed. In
Yeah,
Decred's case, 60% of the circulating supply is mixed. So like over 8 million coins. There's a 21 million coin supply cap, but so many of the coins are mixed. I think it provides a little better privacy in that regard. But
yeah, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, but they chose the opt you it's an optional approach. You can mix if you want to. You don't have to. The chain remains audible, and they also made it so it's post quantum resistant, meaning like supercomputers can't undo the mixing.
Nice.
I wish I could explain how that works, but I can't.
Yeah, no, I don't
Right.
understand it either. Don't worry. So aside from like mixing, is there any other like privacy features that Decred has adopted?
Um, I would say that's it. They used Lightning Network to build an encrypted chat network called Bison Relay, which is it's pretty interesting. It kind of looks like Telegram, and it's all the messages are over Lightning Network, and they're all encrypted. And there's no accounts because you're paying for each individual message with Lightning Network, so it uploads all the information to the server in one big blob. So it's like a metadata minimized chat. It's still very much a work in progress, but as far as privacy goes, I'd say that's the only thing that's being pursued right now. I wouldn't call Decred like a privacy first coin. It's not like Monero. It's not like Firo. It's more kind of about government governance and the DAO elements, and we do have the opt-in privacy mixing. It's there for people who want to use it.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I've seen like people refer to Decred as a privacy coin on social media, but I don't know if it's Decred people that say that. It might be just like
It's kind of
exchanges
a
or
mixed
crypto
bag.
users.
I mean, for a lot of like really serious privacy people out there, if it's not private by default, it's kind of it's not their ideal coin. I know that's how a lot of people in Monero feel, and that's a reasonable take. But yeah, a lot of people at Decred are serious about privacy, and it's the mixing. It's there. Um, that's the path they took. I think they've said they're interested in adding more privacy features in the future. They're just really careful about blockchain bloat, and the Decred full node is only about 12 gigabytes in size, and that's after 8 years of being online. So they're really conscious about
It's only 8 gigabytes.
sorry, it's 12 gigabytes.
12 gig. Oh, wow, that's
Yeah, like
super
you
small.
you can sync a full node like in an hour on a BPS, so it's pretty nice. And then
That's
the
crazy.
SPV wallets, like the SPV's lightweight wallets, maybe like a gigabyte. It's pretty small.
The chain is only barely bigger than Wownero.
Yeah, that I mean they've got some really talented developers working on the full node. They've said it's one of the fastest full nodes, or I don't know, in crypto, or I don't know.
And what like optimizations did they make to change that? I guess from Bitcoin or like another proof of work coin.
That's a good question. I think they're just doing constant optimizations. For anyone interested, if you go to GitHub, it's called DCRD, Decred DCRD. It's just a really well built full node. I think Ethereum actually looks at it. When they built Ethereum, they used some of the same code. Uh,
Okay.
I wish I could give more information. I'm not super like knowledgeable about that area. It's really complex. But if you check out DCRD on GitHub, you'll see a lot if you're technical.
Okay. And then aside from Bison Wallet, what other initiatives is the Decred community like working on right now?
So one thing we're excited about is we're being added to Cake Wallet. The
Nice.
work's already done. We're just waiting on the Cake Wallet team to kind of merge that request. Uh, but so they accepted us. We were really happy to see that. We think Cake Wallet's one of the best mobile wallets out there. Personally, I hold some Monero on Cake Wallet, so I always enjoy using it.
Nice.
Let me think. What else do we have coming? We just had Basic Swap come today. Yeah, I would say there was just a proposal the other day submitted to kind of build decentralized gambling on the Bison Relay platform, the Lightning Network platform.
Sick.
Yeah, they want to build like decentralized poker where you go with your friends and bet money and stuff like that. It's very much a work in progress, but that's an idea thrown out there. Yeah, that's the main thing though is the Bison Dex exchange, which should come out soon.
Okay. And then once it comes out, is it going to launch with all these coins that I see here in the testnet version?
Yep, it's going to launch with everything. Zcash has been supported for a long time, but the new ones are Dash, Biro, Z Classic, and I think Digibyte. And they're open to adding more coins. And from what I understand, if they want to add more stable coins, it's trivial because once you have the Polygon network running, it's pretty easy just to add more coins. So if there's other coins people want to see, like other stable coins like Day or something.
Yeah, I was going to ask you why USDC over USDT.
So USDT is also supported. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I do. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They added USDC initially. They just actually added Tether the other week, but
okay.
I'm not sure. I think maybe there's like Tether kind of has this weird history.
Yeah, I can see that. So, but I was just wondering because like the cheapest stable coin right now is like the Matic version of Tether, I think.
Yeah, I think for sure.
So I mean, yeah, that's you were really talking about fees being prohibitive for trades, so I was just thinking it makes sense maybe to have Tether on Polygon.
Yeah, it's going to be there for sure.
Cool. And then USDC, you have it on Polygon, but is it also on Ethereum? Like, oh yeah, it is on Ethereum. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, nice. And then are you guys planning on adding DAI, which is like the other Ethereum stablecoin?
So the developers are open to adding whatever people want to add, like whatever's popular, including whatever layer 2. They've actually already added Arbitrum. So they said it's trivial to add more layer 2s. It's not much work. So whatever's popular, if they want to add Coinbase's base, it really doesn't matter. Like the infrastructure is all there.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, I'm super impressed to see how many coins that you guys have on Bison Wallet right now to begin with. Like comparing it to Basic Swap, which just added Wownero, making it 8 coins. You guys have double that right now currently. And then I'm excited to see like once it launches, like which communities approach you to add their projects.
Yeah, I think we got most of the bigger layer 1 coins, but again, we're open to any enthusiastic project. It's all open source. Anyone can come forward and contribute. So, and of course, since it is open source, anyone can do their own branding, right? So if you don't like the Bison wallet thing, you can create your own brand.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will make like a Bitcoin maxi brand where it's just Bitcoin and stable coins. So that would be, I would love to see other people come forward. And that's the thing with it is it's a pretty small, it's a smaller community. Not many people know about it. For the longest time, the only active pairs have been Decred and Bitcoin, and not many other people have shown up. And it's in the past it's been pretty difficult to use, and finally it's kind of easy to use now as you've experienced. It's you run an application, get your wallet set up and you're good to go.
Yeah, the simplicity of setup was probably the most impressive thing to me.
But did your wallet sync yet?
Yeah, it did sync.
You should do a trade. It takes like it's real fast.
Okay, yeah, I'll do one. Again, I apologize to the listeners that won't be able to see it. But
yeah, I'm running a market maker, so there's plenty of orders. I think there's a few different people running one right now, actually.
Okay,
we only have maybe like 6 people on testnet, so it's not like a lot of people, but
I think I have like 8 peers right now, or something like that. So I have to buy DCR with USDC. What's this lots thing? Like, how does that work?
So yeah, it's the server operator can choose the lot size. So it's just the number. I think they're going to try to set it to 1 USDC or $1 per lot size, but it doesn't matter. You can just put as many coins as you want to buy. But on the mainnet between Decred and Bitcoin, because the Bitcoin fees are so high, the lot size is 40 Decred, so it's almost $1,000 or $800 per trade, and that's kind of been a major roadblock. And the reason it's like that is they don't want people crushed by the Bitcoin fees, because if Bitcoin fees spike to $20 and you're only doing a $100 trade, now you've just incurred a 20% fee, which is a terrible trading experience. But if it's set really high, you're going to incur a small fee. But
So
all
how
this
high
is going
did
to
they
be
set it for?
40 Decred per lot, which is equivalent
Wow.
to like $700. Yeah, but again, the reason is they don't want people hurt by the fees, and that's why this release is so important, that people move to these other coins, whether it be Litecoin, Monero when it comes, the Polygon stablecoin, because the fees are super low and you can set the lot size super low, as you can see on the decks right now. I think it's like 0.1 Decred per lot size.
Yeah, I have 0.1 right now per lot
And
size. I
yeah,
put one
they have the
Decred,
lot
it's
sizes.
doing 10 lots, and then
Yeah, they have the lot sizes pretty low right now because they don't want to like lose all. We only have so many testnet coins, especially for Polygon. They don't want like someone coming along and just taking all the coins. You know.
yeah. So let me do this trade here. I'm gonna buy 0.25 Decred.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. Yeah, I apologize again to anyone that can't see what I'm doing, but
Yeah, basically you set your order and it'll confirm with you. It'll tell you the projected fees. Sometimes the fee projections get a little weird, but with
yeah,
the
my order is
Decred,
placed and now I'm just waiting for it to fill. So my 10 USDC is locked currently. And
right. When you place an order, it'll lock those coins.
yeah. So I'm excited to see how quickly it settles.
And did you do a taker?
I did the market order buy Decred
Okay.
with USDC, and then I only had 10 USDC because like I tried to do the faucet more than once and it told me I had to wait an hour. So
Okay.
I'm sure when I go back to it, I can probably withdraw more now because it's probably been an hour. But so I had 10 USDC, so I bought 10 USDC worth of Decred, which was 1.8 lots or 0.17857,143 Decred, and now I'm just waiting.
Yeah, there should be a notification that it's like the process has started, and you should see the word settling in your orders.
Yeah, I see settling in my orders, and it's just kind of doing its thing right now.
Yeah, so basically that means it's been processed, and now it's just waiting for the on-chain transactions to complete, and you should be able to click to see more information. So there's going to be 4 different transactions that take place, and you can kind of see each transaction, when it completes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I was describing to you that my trade was 58% filled, but now it has filled completely, I think, maybe. Hold on, let me check. No, it's still at 58.6 filled. So I have 414 in USDC available of my $10 order, and I have received some Decred.
Yeah, so if you did a market order, I'm not sure. I haven't really tested the market orders yet. I mainly do like taker maker.
Okay.
So it might have only filled a portion of it, but basically, it's the swap's complete when you see in your wallet that you have those new coins.
Yeah, right now I'm just waiting for it to fill. It like filled the first half, and I guess it's waiting for someone else to agree to trade or something, right?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, that's basically how it works. You set your orders, they get filled. It's like a normal exchange, basically.
So with the automation from the bots, like how will that improve this
So
trading
the
experience?
bots use Oracle, so they look at the real world price.
Okay.
So they try to keep it similar to that. But they just try to always set orders on both sides, and you can set a spread and that kind of thing. The bots have a lot of edge cases, and sometimes they act wonky, and this is kind of the reason it's taken a while to release the decks, is they're trying to get that all right.
Mhm.
But you should try running one just to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. How similar would you say they are to the market making scripts that Basic Swap employs?
I haven't used those yet, but I would say it's similar. I mean,
Okay.
I don't. I mean, on Basic Swap, there's not an order book. It's just kind of like you set some orders, and from what I've seen on there, trying to remember. like they're all under the normal price.
Okay.
Like weren't they? Most of the orders are like 5% under the normal price, right?
I haven't really used the market making scripts. When I interviewed Dr. Cap from Particl, he was saying that you can set them up to where you kind of just set and forget, and they automatically trade for you.
Yeah, I think this is pretty similar, where it's like looking at the Oracle prices, real world prices, and there's a bunch of parameters you can set, and you can run a bunch of bots at once for all the different pairs, and it tracks the profit and loss.
Yeah, like I clicked create a bot, and now I'm on the market maker settings screen, and it is showing me the little GUI for changing the percentages and settings and stuff for the bot. So I'm just going to go with the defaults and click create bot.
Yeah, I think on the default it might just make like one order on both sides. You can set it to have like 10 or 20. So
Okay.
there's a lot you could do with it.
Yeah.
But I
So
don't think you have many funds right now, so
yeah, I
it'll tell
don't.
you how much funds you need before like it won't let you make the bot unless you have the right amount of funds and everything.
Okay. Well, it says I need $6.49 in USDC. So we'll see if it lets me do it, because I think my funds are all tied up in my trade right now. So I don't think it'll let me.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's not going to let me. But I will definitely play with that once I am able to hit the faucet again.
Yeah, or I can send you some USDC later. I have a bunch.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, it's a really cool product. We hope people like it. We hope people use it. That's the main thing, is just getting people to use it, getting people away from these centralized exchanges. It was a pain because we added Litecoin, and we went to the Litecoin community like, hey, this technology's here, it exists, you can trade permissionlessly, but Litecoin's listed everywhere. So they just use their centralized exchanges.
I can
So
see that being, yeah, because people use Litecoin because it's everywhere that Bitcoin is for the most part. So like that's why it's the most used for payments, right?
it's cheap and everything, but yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can buy it
cheap,
everywhere. It has
fast,
great
and it's
liquidity.
everywhere.
Yeah. But yeah, some of these other communities like, Furo isn't on Coinbase, so we're hoping that community's active, and uh yeah, maybe it'll take time for it to get big. Maybe we'll have to wait until Monero comes out. Monero's released on it for, to get even bigger, because I think Monero is one of the most powerful communities in crypto. So yeah.
Why is
I mean, like,
Decred facing hostility? Why isn't it listed in any U.S. exchange?
that's a really great question. I mean, I'm not sure. Coinbase has hinted that they would list us a while back. Uh it's weird because most of the developer team, the core developer team, is all American, so it's just a weird circumstance. And Kathy Wood at one point said she thought Decred was the number 3 coin. As hard as that is to believe, she said that.
No, I remember her saying that.
Yeah, it was like crazy. But I don't know. It's like it's just you're playing games with these exchanges. They don't provide guidance. They list these different they list the biggest shit coins, and it's so infuriating. It's
Are
like,
you guys trying to get listed for free though, or are they telling you also have to pay a bunch of money? Because I know like a lot of the listings are money. That's why the coins list. They
from
pay
what
like
I've
exorbitant fees.
heard, I think they would be willing to pay money, but I don't know if that's the case. I think a lot of it's confidential.
Okay.
But I would say this: I don't think money's necessarily the issue here.
All right. Fair
Like
enough.
unless things have changed where they want like $50 million and they want you to run market maker bots and that kind of thing, then that wouldn't be the case. That they wouldn't pay that.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that like with Binance, for instance, like there was huge sums of money that people were paying to be listed, and then I know on some of the smaller like no KYC exchanges, like MEXC or no KYC or non KYC or whatever it's called, like for the listings they charge money for smaller coins to get on there. So like I was interviewing Jay Winter from Wownero, and he was saying that the fee for like MEXC or something was like $30,000 or something like that. I can't remember the specifics, but he was
Oh
mentioning that
yeah,
there was like a fee to get listed, and then
it's a big business.
yeah.
But
So
Decred got on Binance for free, with the help of Charlie Lee. Actually, he's a fan of Decred, and he messaged CZ, was like, "Hey, add Decred now."
okay,
So yeah,
cool.
so luckily we didn't have to pay a fee for that, but I've heard with Binance US, there's a bunch of fees and it's not worth it. And we'd rather just build our own decks. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a
'cause
noble
right,
goal. I support you
yeah,
guys in the Dex effort for sure.
especially with this next release with the USDC, you can just go to Coinbase, you can buy USDC with no fees. And it's interesting because when you send USDC from Coinbase on Polygon, there's no fees.
Yeah,
So you can go say buy 1,000 USDC, send it to the DEX, buy whatever coins you want. There's a bunch of different coins, and those coins are already sitting in your wallet, so you don't need to withdraw them anywhere. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. It is pretty cool. And just
And the
like
the
the
fee,
fact that it's not dependent on these gatekeepers and that
yeah,
there's not
it's huge. And
surveillance and all that.
the big thing is there's no KYC. You don't even need an email address. You just sign up and do what you want. And there's a seed. The seed phrase will restore all of your wallets, which is pretty cool. So make sure to write down your seed phrase.
So for these coins that you have listed, are they using like public nodes for those blockchains, or how is that working? Like, because I know with Basic Swap, I'm downloading a bunch of blockchain
Yeah,
data right now.
you're using your own nodes. So with
Yeah,
your Decred wallet, Bitcoin, it's all your own stuff. The difference is, like I said, is it's using SPV, so it's using lightweight. So it's like you don't have to download the whole full node. I know Basic Swap is using pruned full nodes. It's a little different.
yeah,
Uh, like I think the Monero node was like 80 gigabytes
yeah.
pruned.
It's somewhere around there. It's like
Yeah,
73
and
or something.
yeah, and I think the full Monero full node is like 200. I can't remember.
Yeah, it might even
Uh,
be a little bit. It might be like 225 or something. I'm not exactly sure either, but it's
right, but yeah,
significantly
that's
smaller
that's
when you prune it.
that's basically the big deal here is you're running your own wallets, your own nodes. I think with Firo you can use Electrum if you want. With some of the different ones, it's up to you if you want to run a node or if you want to use Electrum.
Okay. And then
So there's some
Decred's
user
using
choice.
Electrum or something like that for
No,
these
Decred uses
SPV wallets.
SPV, which is basically like running a full node. It's basically you're getting the security guarantees without it looks at basically what
Isn't
it
it
does
just
is it looks
verifying the
at,
headers? Like that's what
yeah,
SPV
it looks
wallet
at
is.
all the block headers.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
uh, yeah, it's not like Electrum per se, but
Okay.
you can run a full node if you want. There is an option if you go to the wallet settings, so
Okay.
it's there if you want to do that. But by default, it's just SPV.
Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's a great UI improvement just for the simplicity of like getting up and operating.
Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say, so is there anything that like I haven't asked you about the decks that we should cover?
I think that's just about everything. Again, unfortunately, I'm not a developer, so I don't know like every little aspect of it. Um, but it's kind of been a long time coming. We're all kind of hoping this release is it's big and it works well, and we're always open to UI suggestions, user experience suggestions. Like it's still in test net, so there's a few different things that are going to change. Like even something small, like if you look on the main deck screen, it's just a picture of a Bison. It doesn't even say Bison wallet or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's which is for branding and marketing is a little, we kind of struggle with marketing. So yeah.
I don't know. Logos are good. Logos are good for marketing because you instantly see it and identify it with something. So maybe the bison's a good
What do
choice.
you think of the name? Do you like it or no?
Bison? Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
grew up in the States. Bisons are all American. Like I have good associations with bison. I like bison burgers.
Okay.
I don't have anything negative
Yeah.
to say about it. Yeah, it's a good name. It's cool. It's 2 syllables, right? So like Rappy
Yeah.
or I don't know, Google, like like for a brand name, it's good. Like 2 syllable brands are short, concise, catchy, stay in your head.
Yeah. So yeah, lots to look forward this year. I don't know if you follow Sarai Dex. That's another one that I think is gonna turn heads.
Yeah, I'm excited about Sarai. I actually interviewed Luke Parker, the developer that's launching Sarai, like I don't know, a month ago maybe.
Yeah, he's an interview beast.
Yeah.
He does so many interviews and flies around the world.
Yeah, I actually the reason I interviewed him is because I did an interview with a guy from Darrow, Secret Name Bases, and he came on and talked about Darrow, and it was a cool interview. And then like 2 days after I published the interview, or like 3 days after I published the interview, Luke published a cybersecurity disclosure that he was able to like de-anonymize like certain elements to a Darrow transaction. So I was like, oh man, like I just published my Darrow interview. You should come on and talk about like your exploit that you were able to uncover. So he came on, and then we covered that, and then he also spoke in depth about Sarai and the work and updates and stuff on it.
Yeah, Sarai's using the Thorchain models, which is like, I think, a lot more user friendly.
Yeah, he was saying that like because of it having liquidity pools, that the trade should be like pretty quick and settle like it almost like an equivalent to like Uniswap's trading experience.
Yeah, you can use you can do it from Cake Wallet. So like the DCR Dex Bison wallet, you can't do it from mobile, and the reason is you need to be online to do trades. So you don't want someone like doing a trade from their phone and their phone like runs out of battery and dies, which like is gonna screw up the trade. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that for
But but
sure.
but like maybe there'll be a solution at some point. I'm not sure. Like I know Basic Swap's serious about kind of making things a lot easier. Uh, and with Bison wallet, they're a little bit more like strict with that kind of stuff. Like they really don't want to cut corners at all.
Yeah. Well, you can tell like they put a lot of effort into it.
I was just gonna say with the market makers is like you can now make the markets, you can make the decks look super active, like it's something from Binance or whatever. So that's what we're really excited for, because in the past we've just struggled with liquidity and getting a lot of people to use it. So yeah,
How soon
it's gonna be a big release.
I know you probably mentioned this already, but how soon can we expect the release to be live so that we can start promoting it to people to use it in the different communities?
So it's in the final stages of testing. So Decred Dex has been online since 2020. We've done hundreds of thousands of dollars in swaps between Decred and Bitcoin. This technology has been working for years. It's rock solid. We've never had any issues whatsoever. Um, I've personally traded Decred Litecoin like a year or so ago. I did a number of trades. It all works. Uh, the lead developer told me possibly a release candidate, which should mean mainnet this week. So
Oh
I
yeah, you
would
did
say,
say
if I
that
had to
this
guess,
week. That's incredible.
yeah, I would say within these next few weeks, it should be live or something on mainnet, and it's going to be for obviously Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Cool. That's awesome, man. I'm super excited for the release. Like once it comes out, let me know and I will promote the shit out of it to my
Yeah,
listeners and then also just crypto friends that I have in real life.
yeah, and if anyone out there wants to follow updates, you can follow me at Exitus DCR on Twitter. I post a lot there. I think Bison Wallet has its own account. It's just at Bison Wallet on Twitter. And then make sure to follow the Decred account, Decred Project on Twitter.
Okay. And then do you guys have like any other resources like for people that want to get involved in the project, maybe help out with the DAO and that kind of thing?
Yeah, decred.org has all of our stuff, all of our links, and of course, github.com/decred, github.com/decred/DCRDex for all the Dex specific stuff. So the GitHub repository isn't going to be renamed Bison Wall. It's just going to be called DCRDex. But if you want to learn more, that's kind of the best place to learn about it. And of course, always open to new developers. If you want to integrate your coin into this, we're always open to that as well.
Okay, amazing. I want to personally thank you for giving me a sneak peek Linux version of the Bison wallet to play around with and shooting me some testnet Decred and testnet Polygon.
Oh yeah, anytime. It's just a lot easier if you have it in front of you rather than me just telling you about it. And yeah, maybe I can get one of the main developers on to talk to you about some other elements of Decred, specifically around the node stuff. They're much more knowledgeable than me. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
Indeed, I'd love to do that interview. If you have someone from the Decred community that'd be willing to do it, just let me know. We'll get it scheduled. That would be awesome.
Yeah, for sure.